the vagueness of the statutes at issue would be an extraordinary step for her to take at this moment. But the ruling does not necessarily mean that Jack Smith's argument will prevail at trial, that Donald Trump is not above the law.
In Colorado, weather is the big story.
It's pushing 19 and snowing again.
That was earlier today in Castle Rock. 3 to 4 feet of snow has fallen in some places. That same system is moving east with more than a dozen states under severe weather threats from Dallas to Indianapolis, with thunderstorms and tornadoes forecast. It is Schumer versus Netanyahu. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer slammed the Israeli prime minister on the Senate floor, calling for new elections to replace him.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way.
Our Robert Berger is in Jerusalem with reaction.
Israelis I've spoken to and also heard on the radio are shocked by these remarks by Schumer, especially coming from a fellow Jew in the United States. People seem to think that this is unfair and actually interference in internal Israeli affairs.
Now to Haiti, where a plan is moving forward to create a transitional presidential council. Powerful gangs are filling the void for the moment and taking control of much of the capital. Correspondent Christian Benavides is talking to people caught in the crosshairs in the neighboring Dominican Republic.
We spoke to a couple who is from South Florida, and they split their time between Florida and Cap Haitian. They've done that for the past 49 years. They say that this is the worst in terms of instability that they've seen in their entire time living there.
The violence, the guns, it's the worst it's ever been.
How does a 4-day work week sound to you? Democrat Senator Bernie Sanders has introduced legislation for a 32-hour work week, saying it's time.
We came up with a 40-hour work week. 1940. Who is going to deny that the economy has not fundamentally and radically changed over that period of time?
But several Republican senators are expressing opposition to the plan. Following that viral video endorsement for new teeth she got in Texas, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has been hit with a lawsuit from a consumer advocacy group saying she advertised a product or service without disclosing that she has a financial relationship with that company, and also did not label it as an ad. The Dow lost 137. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 28 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercial.
From the Herteen and Stocker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Herteen and Stocker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Now, Iowa City's News First.
I'm Tommy Lang with KCJJ News. A Coralville resident was found not guilty in Johnson County Court Wednesday on criminal mischief and interference with official acts charges stemming from a protest on the University of Iowa campus. The Cedar Rapids Gazette reports 45-year-old Tara Dutcher joined the October 16th protest rally before the event started at the Iowa Memorial Union to support transgender individuals protesting the speaker, Chloe Cole. During the jury trial, Dutcher testified that they understood the protesters could walk in a circle at the intersection of Madison and Jefferson Streets. They carried a trans flag and a pride flag, and Dutcher was reportedly regarded as the leader of the group because they confronted a police officer who allegedly put hands on the protesters while attempting to remove them after about 20 minutes. Dutcher was one of 6 people arrested in the incident. The other 5 took plea deals, but Dutcher tested Iowa's law on public protests, which was enacted as part of the Back the Blue laws in Iowa and 16 other states following demonstrations over the killing of George Floyd in Minnesota in 2020. Iowa's version of the law expanded protections for drivers who hit street protesters. The jury deliberated for about 3 hours before reaching a verdict. An Iowa City man was arrested after an overnight burglary. Officers were dispatched to the 300 block of East Washington Street at 2:40 Tuesday morning on reports of a burglary at Crown Liquor and Smoke. Upon arrival, they observed 22-year-old Cesar Lemus Palma of North Lynn Street inside the store after business hours, reportedly taking various items. Once Palma left the store, he was taken into custody. Numerous items allegedly taken from the store were found on Palma's person. There were also items near Gabe's that police believe had been taken from the liquor store. There was also reported camera footage showing Palma trying to kick in the door of Gabe's to try to gain entry after business hours. A large amount of cash was discovered on Palma, and staff at the liquor store reported multiple cash registers had been opened. He also had an odor of ingested alcohol and was later measured with a breath alcohol level of 0.254%. Palma is charged with third-degree burglary, attempted third-degree burglary, and public intoxication. He faces a prison sentence of over 7 years if convicted. Once again, a reminder that work on the Rochester Avenue reconstruction project will resume on Friday. The fourth and final phase of the project includes water main work, roadway reconstruction, sidewalk improvements, and new traffic signalization at the First Avenue and Rochester Avenue intersection. The First Avenue-Rochester Avenue intersection will be constructed one half at a time to maintain one lane of traffic in each direction on First Avenue. The west half of the intersection will be constructed first, as will temporary paved turn lanes from First Avenue to Rochester Avenue to the east. The proposed detour route will include First Avenue, Court Street, 7th Avenue, and Rochester Avenue. Rochester Avenue between 7th Avenue and Rita Lynn Court will remain open to local and school traffic only. Construction is anticipated to continue until this fall. For more information, you can go to icgov.org/Rochester. In sports, the Charlotte Sports Foundation and Ally Financial Incorporated have announced the lineup for the 2024 Ally Tip-Off. This year's women's college basketball event is scheduled for Sunday, November 10th at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte. It will be a doubleheader featuring a rematch between number 2 Iowa and number 13 Virginia Tech, and a battle between number 1 South Carolina and number 11 North Carolina State. The games will be broadcast on ESPN platforms with specific details announced at a later date. For more details, you can visit allytipoff.com. The second-ranked Iowa women will learn their bracket position for the NCAA tournament and on which days they'll be playing during the NCAA Women's Selection Show Sunday night at 7 on ESPN. And the Iowa Heartlanders opened the week with a come-from-behind overtime win, 3-2 against Wheeling Wednesday night at Extreme Arena in Coralville. The Heartlanders host Wheeling again Friday and Saturday night at Extreme Arena. For more information and a list of promotions, go to iowaheartlanders.com. With KCJJ News, I'm Tommy Lang.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. For tonight, a brief shower, otherwise a mostly cloudy sky and a low in the upper 30s. For tomorrow, some early clouds, then we'll look for some sunshine into the afternoon. Highs into the mid-50s. The wind starts to pick up Saturday, mostly sunny, 60 for the high, but down to the mid-40s and breezy Sunday with lots of sunshine. That's your Mighty 1630 KCJJ weather. Right now it's 53.
You're listening to Molly Suter on the Mighty 1630 KCJJ.
You are, but you're also listening to Cindy!
It's me.
It's the other girl.
Here. 2 weeks. Wait, has it been 2 weeks?
It has been 2 weeks, and I'll tell you why I know, because, so you were not here last week, but you were here the week before that. And then the day after that, on Friday night, I went to a surprise birthday party for my friend. And I was talking to a lot of new people. And a few days after that, I got a message from someone who was at that party. And he was like, I've been trying to place your voice because I recognized it at the party and I couldn't place it until now. I've heard your show before. He heard the edited segment I did on one of our old Tinder episodes.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I loved the show.
Awesome.
And I'm like, haha, thanks.
That's only happened to me once, where a complete stranger, like, heard my voice and then said, have you been on KCJJ? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, I love you in the morning. Back in the
back in the day when you were in the morning. Yeah, because I'm like, what? Yeah, it's happened to me a few times. It happened like a few years ago, like back to back. It was weird, and then it didn't happen again until like years later when I signed an autograph for my friend's boss who listens to listens to the show. So shout out him, shout out the guy that messaged me. So that was
I don't think either one of us have like distinctive voices. You know what I mean? I think our voices are nice.
Oh yeah.
But we're not like,
I don't put on like a silly wacky radio voice. Like my voice is my voice.
I'm trying to think of something.
Which is why he recognized
Al Pacino, he talks a certain way.
Right, exactly.
Like you can tell who he is from just listening to him.
Right.
But I don't know that our voice, I mean, I don't think my voice is all that unique that people would be able to recognize it right away, but
I mean, I would recognize it, but that's because I talk to you all the time. So like, but yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, yeah, that's why. Anyway, although with social media now, a lot of people probably have seen our faces and kind of know.
Yeah,
maybe, and that's
why
people
putting
two and two together. But
that's why some people can recognize me with my face, like out in the wild. But
I used to get that a lot with like, I know you on Facebook. Yeah, what's your name? Oh, hi, I recognize you.
I usually just say, hi, thanks for listening, or thanks for the nice words if they compliment like my music taste or like my show or whatever. But it's always nice to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting.
It is. All right. Well, how has your 2 weeks been?
I've watched a lot of TV.
Me too.
I started watching The Rookie. Stupid TikTok, I swear to God.
Oh, what's The Rookie?
So, do you watch like sci-fi stuff at all? You have to know who Nathan Fillion is.
I know the name.
Oh my God,
I don't
he's
think
so
I know that.
Adorable.
Wait, okay. Let me look it up. I
feel like he's more like a sci-fi fantasy guy because he was in that one TV show that was only like a Firefly, I think.
Oh, I've seen his face as a GIF. You know, where he
is everywhere. Yeah, you don't know him, but you know him.
Yes. Okay.
So he plays a like 40-year-old dude that gets a divorce. He'd been in construction for the last 20 years. Before that, he was like studying to be a lawyer or something to sort of set up that he's a smart guy, not just a construction guy. Not that construction guys aren't smart, but
I think you have to be in order to know what you're doing.
Exactly. But I think that's the whole premise of like he's not just
he's not like academic.
He's got a storied past, but divorce, middle-aged, midlife crisis basically. Okay. And decides to become a police officer for I don't know, LAPD or something. I forget where he's at. It's someplace warm. But I'm only in like the first season. But because the reason why I'm watching it is because I've always wanted to see it because of Nathan Fillion. But TikTok kept pushing the clip of there's this song in like the 4th season, I think, where a garage band sings a song about a hot cop. And it's so catchy and so cute. And I watched this episode, like this little clip, like over and over again. I'm like, I got to start watching the show. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty good, it's got good stories.
What's it on?
I think I'm watching it on Hulu. Okay. So it's easily accessible. And it's like 4 or 5 seasons. And the cast is very easy to look at. So that's always a bonus.
I'm watching a few different shows now just because I can't focus on just one. But my show that I use for when I'm at like other people's houses, like dog sitting or something, because I'm dog sitting for someone right now, but is Grey's Anatomy. There's a billion seasons, and so like it never fails. Like it will be my show for like watching at other people's houses for years.
Yeah.
I will never run out of it because they're still making it.
I know. And people are still talking about it like it just like
I know
is brand new. I tried again. It was on Netflix, and it
is on
Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
Made it very difficult to like quickly get to it each time.
Really?
Yeah. I have to like go in. I can't just go into the recently watched. It won't even show up on there.
It does.
I don't
for
know
me.
why it didn't for me.
That's
so
weird.
That alone, I know it's only like an extra 30 seconds worth of clicking, but
no, I'm
to
with
me,
you.
it's
That's
like,
annoying. That's
I don't
annoying.
know. By the time I
don't want to
out-
search for it.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it anymore. I mean, that's how quickly my moods change.
I will also say that like the main characters are pretty dry, and that's because it's just a medical drama. Like you don't need your characters to be like so three-dimensional. You don't need them to be likable. You just need drama, and there is drama all the time, but I don't really like the characters.
I don't either, and that's why I can't like I don't know. There's a couple characters I
like the side characters, the main characters.
Oh, I will love in everything.
Oh, see, I don't like her character.
I love
She's
her.
so
and
like
I don't like her character, but I
No.
like her. So, but the Meredith gal, I don't.
No, I don't like her
as
either.
an actress, I don't like her. I don't. Mr. McDreamy, of course.
He's-
I love him.
he's
but
okay, but-
he's not really doing much in the show. I don't think he's just eye candy at that point.
He is, and like the characters are so dry, and it's like the side characters, like the interns or whatever, they're typically like a little more interesting, just because they kind of have to be, because they're not established yet, and you have to kind of care about them, and so they have to make them a little bit interesting. But
have you watched House though?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say if you like,
it's a little bit like House. Yeah.
I know I like House though because I like all the actors on it. I like all the characters on it.
See, I feel like the characters are just like Grey's Anatomy, kind of dry.
I know, but how? Okay, you know where I'm going with this.
Except House, but
he is broken, and I can totally fix him.
Yeah, he's got a Hopper
and,
vibe
you know,
to him, doesn't
we
he?
both know he's got a British accent under that English accent. So
you mean under the American
American
one?
accent? Yeah.
Yes, I do know that.
So
he should have been able to keep it. Why couldn't he have just been a British doctor practicing in America?
Because British people, like, if you're in a different country, you have to come and like go to school again, basically, don't you? If you're a doctor, like it's all different stuff. Like, I know people that are nurses that have to redo their stuff like every state they go to.
I know. Well, I know.
So I can't imagine going to a different
lawyers are
country.
like that too.
But then again, this is fiction, so
yeah. But he could have gone to the States to go to medical school. Like there was no reason for them to make him have an American accent.
You know, but how old is that show? That was like
20.
90s?
No, I think it's about 20 years old. I think it started in 2004.
And I feel like 20 years ago, people were hiding their. I mean, they were still changing their names as actors and actresses if their names were too complicated.
I guess
you know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Like this is 20, 30 years ago. And now there's people out there with like names we can't pronounce, and they're famous.
Right, as it should be. But
Yeah.
Hugh Laurie isn't a hard name to pronounce.
No. But he's disguising his.
No, I know what you mean.
I just feel like 20 years ago we weren't as cultured.
So
with our TV, and
his accent is lovely. Though.
I know.
So like
he's got a great accent.
He could have kept it. Yeah. American accents are fine because they're our own, whatever. Yeah. But especially his, like, I understand if he was from Liverpool, they'd want him to like change it just because Liverpool accents are not as lovely. But he has like a posh one. He has a pretty to understand one. You know.
The thing with him I find most shocking is before House, he was like in like sketch comedy. Like he was a comedian.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Like, I never would have guessed that.
I mean, there are aspects about House's character that's like a dry wit.
Yeah, but it's not like, you know, like slapstick funny. Like he was, and I don't even really know if he was all that funny, but He was in a comedy troupe, which was, or like him and somebody else. I forget who it was, but it was like one of those partner things. But I found that
like
shocking.
a comedy
Yeah,
duo.
I found that shocking. But he's a good actor.
Yeah, I'm always a little shook when I'll look up like an interview of an actor I'm seeing in some TV show or movie, and they're like completely different, and their voice is completely different, and I'm like, whoa, what?
I still can't. Who's the gal from X-Files?
Oh,
what's her name?
Oh,
you know,
Gillian Anderson.
Yes. I still can't get over that she's not American.
Yeah, she's British.
Like, I love that she's doing all of her roles now in like her own voice, but like it's still kind of like, what the heck happened? Like, how did I not know that before?
I think we've said this before, but going back to what you said earlier about like 20 years ago, people had to like hide the otherness or whatever, and that is evident in David Tennant's Doctor, because David Tennant is Scottish, and they made him change his accent to an English one.
Well, I know,
even though Scottish is a part of the United Kingdom, so like, why does it matter?
I don't know. I don't know. But like, all of them have had English. No, wait, the old guy, was
Peter
he Scottish?
Capaldi also Scottish, which is why I was like,
he did the Scottish accent.
That's only a few years difference. Why was he allowed to keep it and David wasn't?
It might have been David's choice too.
It could have been, but why?
He often does, like, he doesn't do very many roles with his Scottish accent, does he?
He did with Broadchurch. If you watched that, it was a police drama.
It was very boring. I watched some of it and I couldn't really.
I liked the first season a lot.
There's a lot of staring, wasn't it? Like long gazes.
Yeah, it was a little bit
super serious.
Dark. Yeah, it was very serious. But yes, he was Scottish for that. All right,
I would look it up if I felt like it, but
if you wanted to. No, I think it's not on Netflix anymore. It's on. I don't even remember what it was.
Broadchurch?
Yeah,
I will never watch that.
Maybe Prime Video, or I don't know. Well, also something I'm watching, not on TV or movie. It is the Where is Kate Middleton saga on TikTok and Twitter. Have you seen those?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Kate Middleton has not been seen since December 25th.
Christmas.
That was last year. She hasn't been seen since Christmas. Unless you count that
weird
that BS photo.
And then there's been 3 BS photos.
Yes. But anyway, in case you have no idea what we're talking about, Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, has not been seen in person since December 25th of last year. It's been reported that she had to have abdominal surgery.
That
and
came
she's
from
recovering.
Kensington, right? That's what Kensington has reported.
I believe so.
That's the official.
That's the official thing of what happened. She had abdominal surgery and she is recovering. It's taking maybe longer than they had hoped to recover.
I mean, abdominal surgery is nothing fun.
But there's but there are a lot of people on the internet, on TikTok and Twitter specifically, that believe that something nefarious is going on.
I only know what TikTok has surmised, and I see a lot of like people making fun.
Making jokes about it. But
and my favorite was someone's like, "Well, Pete Davidson hasn't been seen since 12/29."
I know. What if they're having a torrid affair?
Oh my gosh! I hope that's the story I want to happen, because that would be amazing.
That would be great.
I've heard all sorts of. I will put my money on she had a facelift, but
really,
and it's just not healing. I mean, someone had pointed out that after every single birth, she is out on those front steps of the hospital in heels.
Diana was too.
Like days after birth.
I know, that's crazy to me.
She's like a good healer, you know what I mean? She's a strong woman, so I can't imagine like there's not a surgery that went wrong. But although she may be dead, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing people are speculating. Like, they are waiting until they can publish, like, she died from, like, complications of the surgery. But that's one of the more, I guess, serious theories. But some of the jokey ones I've seen is she got bangs and she's waiting for them to go out.
That's legit.
She got a BBL and she's recovering from that.
Or perm. That'll put you out for a couple of months.
Not really. All you have to do is get your hair wet per Legally Blonde.
That doesn't work. Trust me. It doesn't
Really?
work. Not for a bad perm. A bad perm is like glitter. It sticks around forever. It's bad.
I've never gotten a perm.
I've had home perms. I'm 20 years older than you, right?
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and 80s, that's all we did was perm our hair. Seriously. I remember my old boss, I found an old picture of him, and he had permed hair. It was like in the 80s, before I knew him. My old boss. But like everybody got their hair permed back then.
Yeah, well, the only like context I have for perms is like grandmas getting perms, and so that's made me never want to get it because I don't want a grandma haircut, you know. So I don't know what like a permed long look.
I don't know.
Like.
Do they even offer them any? Anyway,
I think they.
Distracted.
I think they do. Anyway, but
back to Kate.
Back to Kate. So there was another theory I saw. We're going to go through all of them. Okay. Another theory that I saw that they had a Spanish nanny in Kensington where they live, and she was dismissed. And then when she went back to Spain, a Spanish journalist broke a story about, what was it? It was like Kate's in a coma from like the surgery that went wrong.
Oh, that's what the old maid is saying?
Yes, okay. The old nanny.
The old nanny is
to the Spanish press. I'm not sure if we're going to believe her, but there's a lot of people theorizing what's happened to her. And to get to like the photoshopped photo that she posted on her social media, and people immediately were like, this is heavily photoshopped, to the point where they had to pull it from like a lot of media sites because it was too doctored.
They killed it. And I was reading something that was basically saying that the Associated Press, like, they never do that. Yeah. This is like, does not happen, especially from Kensington Palace. Because if you submit a photo to the AP, apparently you have to follow rules, and there's like, they'll allow like a certain amount of photoshopping to like make the picture look a little bit better, but nothing like that. I'm assuming that they accepted it from Kensington thinking
it was fine.
Like, they've never screwed us over before, so of course this is going to be okay.
I have also seen that Associated Press has removed Kensington as like a
trusted source.
Yeah.
I just don't,
because of that. And even if it was Kate doing all of the Photoshop,
she didn't do that. Kensington did.
No,
I don't think she has anything to do with any of this.
But even if she did, if everything that they've published is true, and I don't think it is, like, surely you shouldn't, you know better than to seriously doctor this photo and put it out as if it isn't.
Well, I think part of what's happening
heavily altered without putting it out there, you know?
The people at Kensington Palace, the whole whatever organization, they're just used to being able to tell people things and not be questioned.
Yep.
Because they've been around for 1,000 years or whatever. It's 2024.
Yeah.
These like little baby, like Gen Ys or whatever, they are researching everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not going to be quiet about it. So they need to get up with the times and try not trying. It's 2024. Don't fool us anymore.
Right. Like, you're not going to survive the internet scrutinizing
That's probably
your whole thing.
Why they want to shut down TikTok. Because a lot of this is happening on TikTok. I wouldn't even know about this, probably.
No, exactly.
If it weren't for social media.
What I think is funny is because I know that if you have, like, a bunch of kids in the photo, like, surely the final product is a combination of who has the best face in each version of the photo, and you like copy and paste onto like the regular photo from a bunch of different ones. I understand that, but this one it was like so heavily doctored and so heavily cut and paste.
Someone had pointed out it almost looked like they were trying to edit out a wheelchair.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm just like, but even if she was in a wheelchair, like she just had an abdominal surgery. That's not like weird. To be in a wheelchair after major surgery, that's not a weird thing.
And why they even release the picture? Like, what?
They didn't have to. It was for Mother's Day in the UK,
I know,
and
but
they always
didn't have
do.
to.
They always
didn't
do.
have to.
They always do.
I would have just not done anything. I mean, Kensington Palace can just shut their mouth and not say anything. They don't have to answer these questions. They might be better off. I can tell you what, though. Someone got fired over that photo.
Yeah.
I think a whole department probably went under from that.
I wonder if there's going to be like a whistleblower because of it.
Because I don't think she even has control over her Instagram.
I
find I would.
Well, not if she's like.
No, I think in
recovering.
normal circumstances, like when you are that level of whatever they are, you have people doing that.
Surely.
Just like some people should. Like presidents of the United States should not have access to their own Twitter. Like Donald Trump. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at.
I believe
he needed a social media manager.
I believe there have been several people who probably proposed a social media manager to him, and he doesn't want one.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I think Biden probably has one, though.
I think he does, but I'm sure he gets, like, he has to have things approved. I'm sure he does, because, like, why? Otherwise, we'd have all sorts of crazy stuff. Life would be a little more interesting if we could just blurt out whatever we wanted. Especially if you're famous, because then that's where you get all the dirt.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite. Well, not my favorite. Supposedly, they're saying that the gossip people are saying that William has had an affair with a woman for 10 years.
That's all but confirmed.
Okay, but this woman
he's
got
a cheater,
pregnant,
just like his daddy.
Got pregnant supposedly.
Oh,
and is keeping it. And there's the rumor that Kate is just basically saying, adios.
Done. Yeah.
I'm not coming back until I get what I want.
Actually, do you know, that's a theory that's very possible, that she has just said that she's done. Like, because they've had marital problems for a while now, right? And so a divorce isn't... or a separation isn't totally far-fetched, especially because he all but is cheating on her with what was it, the Baroness of, what was her name?
I don't even remember.
But she has like a fancy name.
I thought it was like Poppy or something like that. Or
no,
maybe that was the nickname
I think you're thinking of Pippa, which is Kate's sister.
No, they gave her like a nickname. The people on TikTok that were talking about it.
Oh. I'm just Googling William's mistress. What's her name? Rose Hanbury.
Yeah, yes, Hanbury. Of the Gloucestershire Hanburys.
I think Gloucester. I think that's how you pronounce that.
I was an American faking an English accent with a very bad pronunciation.
But yeah, I watched an interesting TikTok about the history of the royals, like photoshopping images, and they've been doing it since photography was invented. Like in the midst of Victoria's reign, she was a rotund woman, and we knew this, but she didn't want people like seeing her double chin, so she like took the photo plate and would manipulate. Like scratch out like areas of her face that like she wanted to like hide from the publisher. Like she would alter the I guess like the master plate, and so there are no versions of the photo that
I would bet that even centuries they've been doing it. Like with the paintings.
With paintings, they do.
None of those paintings look like the kings and the queens of.
In the same video, there was the topic of discussion was this portrait of Henry VIII and his wife, but it wasn't even the wife that he had at the time of the painting, because at the time of the painting he was on his last wife, Catherine Parr, but he had his third wife, Jane Seymour, the mother of his only heir, legitimate heir, painted in the photo. like in the painting. Like, it wasn't even Catherine Parr. It was his dead ex-wife. And obviously, the painter made him look slimmer and younger and healthier than he was.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because at that point, he was also very rotund and old.
Festering sores.
Yeah, festering sores on his leg. That's crazy.
I think he had them everywhere, probably.
He must have smelled crazy.
Everybody smelled back
No,
then.
but especially him with festering wounds.
Yeah.
He must have smelled crazy. But yeah, it's been fascinating watching this story, and the internet gets tired of things quickly, and so this is pretty much the only time we would be able to discuss this without it being a stale topic.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you're in today so we can discuss it. But, like, something is actually happening. I don't think the total truth is being told.
No.
You know?
I hope we get it.
Yeah, me
But
too.
that's me being hopeful.
I mean, but we didn't learn about, like, I hope she has an interview a la Princess Diana. Remember when she was like, there were 3 people in that marriage, so it was quite crowded. Like, I want a moment like that.
Well, Diana walked so she could run.
Yeah.
And she just recently witnessed her, brother and sister-in-law moving across the pond and sort of saying, I don't want to do this royal thing anymore.
And so she's like, wait, I have an out?
Honestly,
I can be out if I want to?
Sometimes, like, someone else changing their life is the sort of catalyst for other people around them to, like... So maybe that's what's happening. Maybe she's... Oh, hey. Maybe she...
What?
Maybe she's with her brother and sister-in-law in the
Do you think maybe she's with
hanging
Harry
out
and Meghan?
They put a little house in the backyard for her.
A tiny house for Kate Middleton.
She's staying in an RV until it's remodeled and up and nice and neat. But
wait, she's doing van life.
Yeah. She's got one of those sprinters. Just hanging out in the back.
Another like joke theory I've seen is that she's on this season of The Masked Singer.
That's what someone said too. I thought that was the best, actually. And maybe she's doing the special ops show.
I want it to be something fun like that, but it's not going to be.
Maybe she's in Big Brother UK.
Oh my god!
Oh my good. No, we would know that because that's live. Well, that other shows,
Celebrity Big Brother.
I'm trying to think of some of the celebrity. Well, like I've been hooked on the villains and traitors.
Oh, the traitors. Yeah, I've heard a lot of my friends watch that show. I am not one of them.
I only watched it because I knew quite a few of the people on it from like other reality shows, so I was kind of intrigued by the whole thing. Normally, I don't watch game reality ones, but
I need to get back into Survivor because I used to love watching Survivor. They brought the drama.
Johnny Fairplay.
Oh my god,
we all know Johnny Fairplay.
He was so annoying.
I know, but
I hated him.
He was the best player. He was the best player. He pulled dead grandma. His grandma died.
Yeah, but that wasn't
his grandma didn't
true.
Die.
Yeah.
But I think he got food out of it. He was telling people
he got something out of it, yeah. Or like, I don't quite remember because it's been a few years, but I just remember thinking he was a misogynist and I hated him.
Yeah, he was not a good person, but he was a very good game player.
Oh yeah,
him and Boston Rob were the ones that I remember.
Boston Rob was also kind of
he was a jerk,
an a-hole, yeah.
But I think Boston Rob's the one that ended up. It was either him or Johnny that ended up getting like 2 or 3 like enemies to like get with him. Like he pulled a lot of twists and turns.
I don't quite remember that either.
One of them did. I can't remember.
I just remember
their gameplay.
I remember only impressions of contestants.
I think those are the only ones I remember, to be honest. Oh, that and Richard, because that was the first season, wasn't it?
Oh, I think so.
Or the second season. He was naked all the time.
Oh, right. Well, there's actually like there's usually one dude every season that gets pretty comfortable just being naked. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, so some of these people, like, depending on your constitution, they lose weight like that. If you're not winning challenges, you're not winning food, and so you're cooking rice and catching fish at your campsite, and you are dropping weight like that. And so there are like some people where like your swimsuit doesn't fit you anymore and just falls right off of you.
Yeah.
Or like hangs so low on your hips that like if you start moving, it will it will fall off unless you like hike up your shorts or something. And it's actually kind of concerning. Like, I am genuinely concerned when like already skinny people come onto the show, because I'm like, you are going to be a skeleton.
Yeah, I've seen some of them be really look very sick towards the end. But
yeah, exactly. And like some people have to be medevaced because of various things.
So you're telling me I need to go on Survivor to lose weight?
No, Cindy, that's not what I'm
stranded
saying.
on an island.
Oh my gosh. Like Amelia Earhart.
It would be a lot easier than actually trying to watch what I eat. I'm just saying. You'd have to force me into it.
You would gain it all back when you got back, though.
Yeah, probably.
Like those people, like it's definitely just circumstantial weight loss.
True.
And it's literally your body's starving. It's not admirable to lose weight like that.
I'm not in it for the admiration. I want an easy fix, Molly.
Maybe it's not a healthy way to lose weight, for sure.
No. Fat and happy, I'll stay.
It's better to be that.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think you're that big.
Thank you for lying to me.
I'm not.
I love you so much, Molly. You're my favorite person.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, you're up there.
You're up there.
I tell
for
people
me
I
too.
don't go out in public for people very often. There's like a small list of people that
I know
I will go and socialize with.
You went to my birthday party last year.
I was telling someone the other day,
And
I'm
you
like,
hated it. You were like, "Happy birthday! I'm leaving."
I wasn't that bad. I was actually explaining that exact scene to my coworker and explaining how, like, now it's like I just don't say yes to anything. I try not to say yes because I always want to cancel.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I went to a birthday party, I remember, and I like didn't know anyone at the party really,
Right.
except for the host, and I made myself go because I knew it was important. And I'm like, I basically gave the gift. I said hi. I stood around awkwardly for about 2 minutes, and then I left.
You probably. Well, you knew my dad. He was there.
I know,
He was there the whole time. My parents
know,
were.
and they're very friendly.
the
But
dog.
I'm also very awkward in social situations if I don't walk in with a posse.
That's fair.
I feel very uncomfortable.
No, honestly, because I have, and especially now, even more so than that party last year, I have a lot of different like streams of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting them all together like that, like I understand it can be very awkward if you don't know anyone else at the party except the host, and you can't spend a lot of time with the host.
Exactly.
And I couldn't spend a lot of time with like people one-on-one. Like you always have to make the rounds, which is why I prefer attending parties rather than hosting them.
I prefer to stay home.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
Then I always feel like I have to say yes because then they won't ever invite me ever again.
It's nice to be invited.
I know. And so now I'm just telling people I want to be invited, but I'm not going. Makes everybody happy.
I love you, but no. Although I really appreciated that you stopped by to say hi.
I was forcing myself, but it was fun. I mean, you had a nice little get together.
Oh yeah,
And
I did.
I like City Park in general, so
Yeah, it was
a perfect day for it.
I can't believe I didn't think of it earlier, honestly, because the only reason, because my party was last year outdoors at City Park Shelter, for those of you who didn't know that. And my friend had the exact same party the year before. Like, he got that exact same shelter.
I think that's the shelter my sister was married at.
Yeah, and like, I was like, oh, this is really nice. I'm going to copy your party for my party. And that's exactly what I did.
I know if I ever get married again, City Park is where I'm going to start.
Yeah,
that's,
like you are.
Cheap. It's like, what was it, $35 for the shelter? If that, probably.
Yeah, it was 30. I believe so. And for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
No. I think it was about 3 hours. But there was nobody after me, so we stayed for longer. There was actually only 2 events at that shelter that day, and one was in the morning while I was working because it was a Saturday afternoon, and I went over like right after I got off work here at 2, set up, and then it was like an afternoon party, so it was great. I recommend it. It was great. But yeah, that would be a good venue for a wedding because, like, City Park is so beautiful, and also, like, you already have a reception venue. It's right there.
Yeah, and everyone's just sitting at the table. It was awesome.
And, like, there's various sizes, so even if you want, like, you know, you could still have, like, 75 people there.
Oh, yeah, we had... I don't
in,
remember
like,
how
one of
many
the
people we
big
had,
shelters.
Yeah.
I mean, I only got, like, the 30-person capacity one just because it was a birthday party, but, like, yeah, there are shelters out there that, like, accommodate up to 75 people.
Don't sleep on City Park.
Yeah, don't sleep on City Park. It's not even, like, City Park proper. Like, there are, like, that big shelter over at Hickory Hill. That would be a great one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the other parks in town.
If I ever got married, I would probably do that. Just because I've been thinking about this a lot, like, lately, because I'm going to 3 weddings this year. And I'm just thinking about how expensive it must be to, like, set up a church wedding and, like, a typical reception. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm just like, for one day.
I mean,
it just doesn't seem cost effective to me. And if you label anything that you're booking as a wedding, like, it automatically bumps up,
right,
like 20%. You know.
Well, in some
At
cases,
least.
I understand why. Like, I mean, obviously on TikTok, I follow a lot of people that are like bakers and stuff like that, and so they always explain that a wedding cake takes precedence. That's why. Like, it's a lot more involved because you have to go and set it up and all that stuff. So that's why they charge a little extra. But I don't know about, like, photography and stuff.
I'm talking about, yeah, like, photography or, like, DJs or, like, just wedding venues in general. Like, if you said, oh, this is for a birthday party, and as opposed to, oh, this is, like, for a wedding reception, like, the price would be so much different.
Right.
And, like, it's only renting a space. Unless they, like, provide additional services specifically for weddings.
Right.
I don't know what it would be, but, I mean, I would get that. But I'm talking about, like, just renting a space or just renting something.
Well, he went to that, I think it was a VFW out in, not Tiffin, Lone Tree. It was a nice VFW. Very nice.
I haven't been to Lone Tree since I was a kid and my friend moved out there. And then she promptly moved back.
But it was like the cheapest place we could find, and it was big enough. But we had, I mean, we did our wedding on the cheap. It was like probably less than $6,000.
Where did you have your wedding?
At the church, the Methodist Church in West Branch.
Oh, I think I've been to a wedding there.
It's a nice church.
Actually, I don't know if it was Methodist.
I think it's Methodist. I can't remember. I don't even know why I got married in a church, to be honest with you.
Was your husband religious?
No, neither one of us were. We were both baptized Catholic, which was important because apparently you have to be, like in that particular church, you had to at least prove that you were
baptized
or something.
Interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I know, but it's like, I don't know.
I think maybe you guys were just under the assumption, like, you get married in a church.
I think I didn't know any better. I didn't even know what colors to use. Like, I didn't have any. I was not a girl who dreamt about her wedding.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get married, and I wanted to have a wedding. I just didn't really put too much thought into the details. So I wasn't like, I'm going to have this. Now, if I were to get married, I probably wouldn't get married because I don't think I could find a husband to be.
Hypothetically,
that would want my wedding.
If you found a guy who wanted your wedding, what would a modern Cindy wedding look like?
Well, I would definitely, my dress would be pink.
Yes.
And I would have a crown of some sort.
Yes.
I don't care what he wears. Although a pink tie and all that stuff would be cute. Yeah,
matching like prom.
And then I don't really even know. I mean, I wouldn't even mind a Vegas. That would be fun.
That would be fun. I have friends who were married in Vegas and were married by an Elvis impersonator.
I know, that would be fun.
Apparently that also takes effort. Like, you have to plan that. That's not even like an on a whim thing.
This whole thing, I don't know how people are getting drunk and getting married in Vegas.
Exactly. No, I don't think that happens. I think that's just in movies. and songs.
It happened to, well, I guess I would say one of the Kardashians did it. Oh, Britney Spears did it, but all these people that did it.
She wasn't drunk though. That was
I know, but it was a
whim thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
and it was annulled. It was annulled immediately.
And then the other detail I know for sure is there will be a Taco John's Potato Olay bar at the reception. But beyond that,
why wouldn't a guy want that?
All the pink. And
okay, but why are you marrying a man who would care all?
See, that's the point. That's the point,
right?
Like, people always ask me, like,
so you just want a man secure in his masculinity enough to be like, I don't care if there's pink at my wedding.
Well, and I love it because
like any reasonable person would.
My house is gradually turning into all pink. Not that I meant to do it, but that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think one of my kids' friends is like, well, what if you meet a guy that is he going to want to come into a pink house? I'm like, I don't care. That's his problem, not mine.
Yeah.
I mean,
if I associate with a guy who isn't down with a little bit of pink, I don't want to know him.
I'm not gonna. Ever since
pink is a color, it's a color.
I'm single now, and I'm sticking with what I like. I'm not gonna plan my life on maybe just meeting someone and maybe they won't like what I like. Like, that doesn't make sense.
No, that doesn't make sense.
And I don't care about resale value either. So it's a mobile home, so who cares?
Also, maybe if you do ever resell it, like, you'll sell it to someone who loves pink.
Exactly.
A girly girl who loves pink.
Yeah.
Or a guy who loves pink.
It's like those Zillow Gone Wild.
Yeah, I love those.
Those are crazy.
Posts so
but
much.
I would buy every single one of those houses, especially one with a spaceship.
Yeah, like, I hate that trend of people are calling it millennial gray. Where, like, every new build you see, or, like, any updated apartment you see is, like, grayscale furniture, grayscale walls, grayscale, like, trimmings and hardwood is just all gray. And the only upside to that is at least you know that it was renovated somewhat recently. Mm-hmm. Because you can tell because it's such like a trend now, and it's beginning to look even dated now.
Yeah.
But like especially in the next few years when the next home decor trend comes up. But yeah, millennial gray is what that's called.
Yeah, I don't like neutral colors, so except for black. Is that neutral?
Yeah.
Black is neutral.
Yeah.
It matches everything. That's what
it does. It does.
What would your wedding be like?
As low key as possible. So like, yeah, we were talking about the city park thing. Honestly, probably get married at the courthouse. 'Cause like, even the marriage license costs money, you know? Like you need to like, oh, of course you know, but
I don't know how much they are, but yeah, I do.
No, I don't know how much they are either, and I'm just like, that's the only thing that I would want to spend money on the marriage itself.
Right.
And then I would spend all that money that would go into the ceremony on either like a really cool honeymoon or sink more of that into making a cool reception. But even the reception, like it would be something casual like the shelter at Hickory Hill or something really low key like that. You know,
do you ever, like, I'm on Reddit all the time, but I am on the wedding shaming. Do you ever read any of those?
No, but I think I would love it.
It's mostly about like brides to be that are just horrible.
Yeah,
you know, and they ask
bridezillas
way too much. Yeah, from like their bridesmaids and stuff.
That's another thing. Like if you are like set on having like a traditional wedding with like a traditional bachelorette party or whatever, and like so many people go to Nashville or Vegas or something, and that's costing your bridal party thousands of dollars, and also having to take off work and having to buy the bridesmaid's dress and having to take more time off work for like the wedding, especially if it's a destination wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just costing your friends like more money just because it's your day, and I feel like it's a little selfish to do that.
That is another thing I would do differently too.
Yeah.
I remember I it was really hard to find a bridesmaid dress.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I had bridesmaids that were all kind of similar sizes and stuff, so it wasn't like I had to get, I had like wildly different styles to choose from, but like I wanted, a certain color, and I found a dress that was like under, I think it was like $80 or something like that.
Okay,
It was
that's
really
nice.
cheap.
Yeah.
But thinking back on it, I'm like, I wish I would have, because I was in a wedding one time where they said, "Hey, wear what you want."
Yeah, wear whatever you want,
or
like
pick a color.
This is the colors that we want. Choose something in that color, but other than that, wear a dress you're comfortable in.
Or I could. Oh, I have it.
What?
This is the reality TV in me. I'm in pink, and I make all the guests wear white. That would be awesome. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Awesome. That's what I'm doing. Who wants to come to my wedding? I need a groom or another bride. I'm open to either at this point.
All right.
Or both.
Can I be?
We can do a poly thing.
Not maid of honor, because that would probably go to one of your daughters. But could I be a bridesmaid?
I think when you hit 50 plus and you get married for the second time, they don't do bridesmaids and stuff, do they?
What?
I mean,
I'm sure you can. I don't think that's typically how it's done.
Do you need a wedding party?
I think all of the wedding traditions are typically done by young women, and like older women, I maybe go in thinking like, oh, I don't need all that fuss.
Yeah.
Because I did that like back when I was 25 or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
fun party.
Find someone to marry. I'll come.
I think what I'm going to do is when I win, if I ever win the lottery or come into money, I'll just have a big party.
Yeah, why not?
And I'll dress in a big wedding dress. Who cares?
Yeah, dress in a big.
I might just go buy a wedding dress and just go walking around in it.
A big, poofy white dress.
Go down to the public library. Just hang out. That'd be fun.
Oh, get married in a library.
Again, Reddit. Somebody on the Iowa City thread was asking about cheap wedding venues, and I had given my tip was the VFWs in town are pretty cheap, and they're not exactly super classy, but they're like they have everything you need there, and it's not like crazy amount of money. But I could have sworn I knew somebody. I thought I'd heard somebody get married at the Museum of Natural History, which would be amazing. Like
I would love that. That's so cute.
It's like my favorite. It's my favorite museum anyway in town.
I want to get married in front of the giant sloth.
I know. I want to get married in that weird bird.
Yeah. The weird bird room. Yes.
Do you remember?
Wait, if I'm ever getting married, I'm doing that. We're getting married in the weird bird room.
Or maybe we could set that up as like the bridal suites.
No, the weird.
And then you walk up. Isn't there a big whale in the room outside of that? And then you walk out under the whale.
I think that's in a different section, but yes, I love the weird bird room. I have not been to that museum in forever. I have to go back.
Was it birds or was it like
it's weird. It's
prairie dogs or something.
No, I think it's gulls. I think it's like seagulls.
It just makes noise, like the bird noises when you have to push a button or something. I can't remember.
I think you have to push the button, but I mean, it's whenever I went as a child, like it was always on a weekend, and so the sound was just constantly going because there's a bunch of kids like constantly pushing a button. So it was just bird noises, but I 100% know what you mean by the weird bird room. Absolutely.
I used to take the kids there all the time. That's the place I always tell people to go when they're in town because I'm like, it's free.
Yeah. I remember my dad took me and Amy there a lot when my mom was getting her MBA, and she wasn't with us on nights and some weekends. So we went there a lot. Yeah, it was a fun, free thing to do.
Right in town.
Oh, somebody said, Elvis in the chat room, what about getting married in the actual Old Capitol? You can do that.
I've heard that too.
And
yes.
I've been to the Old Capitol a few times for tours, and yeah, there's like a room dedicated to weddings when they hold them there. So yeah, that's an option.
I haven't been in the Old Capitol since before it caught fire.
That was like
a long
while ago,
yeah.
Right? Like at least 15 years ago.
I don't think the kids and I ever went. I remember going when I was in grade school, but I always wanted to go back in, but then
I went on a date with a guy who was a docent there, I think, and so he gave me a tour. Yeah,
cute.
It was cute.
Did you do that for every girl on their first date? Or?
I don't think so. No, but I wanted to. He was like, he put in his profile like docent at Old Capitol Museum. I'm like, I've never been there. Give me a tour. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Like he was like kind of shook that I wanted a tour, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is cool. Fun. Yeah. It did not work out.
Aw. You could have gotten married there.
Yes.
You could have been Mrs. Docent.
Mrs. Docent.
Do we need to?
Yeah, if we want to take a little break now, we can. Now that we've brought it up.
Good transition.
All right. Well, we are going to take a little break, and we'll be back discussing God knows what. You're listening to the Mighty 1630 KCJJ.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. In separate trials, James and Jennifer Crumbley have become the first parents in the U.S. to be held responsible for a child carrying out a school attack. In this case, the 2021 Oxford, Michigan high school shooting. James Crumbley looked down and shook his head as the verdict was read last hour.
Guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin. Guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Tate Meir. Guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Hannah St. Juliana. Guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Justin Schilling.
The couple has been found guilty of not locking up a gun and ignoring their son's mental health. Jennifer Crumbley was convicted last month. A federal judge denies a motion by former President Donald Trump's attorneys to dismiss the case against him regarding his handling of classified documents. Trump's attorneys argued that he was legally entitled to keep the sensitive records after leaving office. CBS's Katrina Kaufman in Fort Pierce, Florida.
There was a lot of questioning of his team, a lot of pushback. She seemed to want to actually present these issues before a jury. She was discussing how maybe they could define terms in jury questions to present them during the trial, and ultimately she just said that she didn't think that these were worthy of dismissing the indictment.
Severe weather slams the country's midsection. Some portions of Colorado have 3 feet of snow with more falling. And as CBS's Dave Malkoff reports,
tonight the severe weather threat keeps growing in the Midwest with multiple tornadoes touching down in Indiana. In Hanover, a tornado ripped through homes, causing roofs to collapse, knocking down trees and power lines.
Total destruction. The inside, everything.
In Madison, another tornado crossed the Ohio River. Video shows debris spinning in the air.
CBS's Stacey Lynn reports on long COVID.
New research from Australia has found long COVID symptoms are indistinguishable from other viral infections.
These post-viral syndromes are a lot more common than we know.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder says the study found other infections also had ongoing problems.
In addition to COVID, flu, RSV, rhinovirus, and EBV, other infections associated with similar syndromes include tick-borne and GI infections.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The bridge that serves as a gateway to Rhode Island's largest city has to be rebuilt. The westbound Washington Bridge was shut down in December because of a critical failure of some bridge parts. Governor Dan McKee.
We understand the problem, and we have a plan to fix it.
Demolition is expected to start this summer. The goal is to reopen it in 2026. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility, great pay, and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. And here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the Hertine and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertine and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Now, Iowa City's news first.
I'm Tommy Lang with KCJJ News. Construction on the long-running Interstate 80 I-380 interchange is wrapping up this spring. The Cedar Rapids Gazette reports contractors this month are pouring concrete for median barriers on I-380 near where it becomes Highway 218. The I-80 median barrier was completed in mid-January, and a temporary barrier was removed early last month. Hugh Holak, resident construction engineer for the Iowa Department of Transportation's District 6, says after the median barriers are completed, rumble strips will be installed on the median shoulders, followed by another lane constructed in both directions on the left side of I-380 and Highway 218. Weather permitting, most of the work should be done by the end of April. The majority of the project was completed a few months ahead of schedule, mostly due to financial incentives offered by the State Department of Transportation to meet early deadlines. The $387 million interchange project started in 2018. With the final phase of the Rochester Avenue reconstruction project beginning on Friday, Iowa City Transit has announced detour routes and bus stops that will be closed along the Rochester and AM and PM East Side Loop routes. The outbound Rochester bus will detour from Rochester Avenue to 7th Avenue to Friendship Street to 1st Avenue to Tudor Drive to Post Road to Rochester Avenue. The inbound Rochester bus will detour from Rochester Avenue to Post Road to Tudor Drive to 1st Avenue to Friendship Street to 7th Avenue to Rochester Avenue. Iowa City Transit will not service Regina schools with the AM or PM East Side Loop during the detour. The PM East Side Loop will start at City High, and the AM East Side Loop ends at City High. For more details on the transit changes, you can go to icgov.org. And for more information on the Rochester Avenue reconstruction project, you can go to icgov.org/Rochester. An area transient who allegedly threatened to kill an old Capitol Town Center security guard last month and trashed the Laundromania location on East Bloomington Street last week now faces new charges. On March 3rd, 27-year-old Michael Pennell was in a business on the 300 block of East Burlington Street at about 12:40 a.m. when he allegedly struck a window and shattered it. He'd been trespassed from the business 3 years prior. The estimated cost to replace the window was $600. Police also say Pennell struck a woman just after 8 p.m. last Thursday in the area of Burlington and Clinton Streets. She told police that Pennell hit her in the face and threw her to the ground. On Monday, Pennell allegedly returned to the old Capitol Town Center despite being trespassed from the location last week for knocking chairs over in the common seating area. He was taken into custody and released. Then during the noon hour that same day, Pennell allegedly swung at an employee taking a cigarette break outside Kirkwood Liquor and Tobacco. The victim said he didn't know Pennell and there'd been no interaction prior to the incident. Pennell then made his way to Romantics down the block and reportedly knocked over a flower pot and broke a nearby Little Free Library structure. Pennell is charged with 4th-degree criminal mischief and trespassing causing damage for the March 3rd incident, assault causing bodily injury for the March 7th incident, and for incidents that occurred on Monday, Pennell is charged with trespassing, assault with intent to cause injury, and 5th-degree criminal mischief. If convicted on all counts against him, Pennell could be sentenced to up to 38 months in jail. In sports, the University of Iowa softball team fell to St. Mary's 5-2 in a midweek matchup just outside of San Francisco Wednesday afternoon. The Hawkeyes return to action on Friday, traveling to Stockton, California for a round-robin series with Pacific and Sacramento State. The Hawkeyes face Pacific at 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. You can see that game on ESPN+. The Iowa baseball team hosts Western Illinois Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Banks Field. Friday's game starts at 4:05, and each game in the series can be seen on BTN+. And the Iowa Heartlanders opened the week with a come-from-behind overtime win, 3-2 over Wheeling Wednesday night at Extreme Arena. The Heartlanders host Wheeling again Friday and Saturday nights. For more information, go to iowaheartlanders.com. With KCJJ News, I'm Tommy Lang.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. For tonight, a brief shower, otherwise a mostly cloudy sky and a low in the upper 30s. For tomorrow, some early clouds, then we'll look for some sunshine into the afternoon. Highs into the mid-50s. The wind starts to pick up Saturday, mostly sunny, 60 for the high, but down to the mid-40s and breezy Sunday with lots of sunshine. That's your Mighty 1630 KCJJ weather. Right now it's 53.
You're listening to Molly Suter on the Mighty 1630 KCJJ.
Cindy 2, hello.
Hello. They always end up at Romantics, don't they?
Always.
Formerly known.
Oh, speaking
as
of...
Pleasure Palace.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's around the corner on Gilbert, right? Or off of Gilbert?
Yeah, it is. I have never seen it as anything but Romantics, or have not even noticed it as anything but Romantics. Anyway, now that we're talking about like news stories that we hear, I just want to give a little PSA that is probably not going to mean anything to anyone listening, because the people who call me aren't listeners. But just so you know, I do not write news stories here. I have nothing to do with the news stories that are published here. So if you call me at 5:30 in the afternoon begging, screaming for a story to be taken down, I cannot help you. So don't do it. Again, nobody is going...
Was the story false?
They always claim it is. But anyway, it's not. That's not anything I'm ever associated with, so I can't help you.
That is not your department.
It's not. I tell them, like, I'm just an on-air person. I can't do it. Anyway.
You're like, I don't even know how to read. How can
I talk for a reason. Right, so before the break we were talking about weddings and if we were to ever get married, what odd place would we want to have our weddings at? And I liked your idea of the Natural History Museum in the Weird Bird Room. That's such an awesome suggestion.
Well, I think I've told you this before. When I was younger, in my 20s, college-aged, I spent a lot of time at the field house. The bar.
The bar, not the actual field house.
Which is now something else and looks nothing like what the field house used to look like. So the field house used to have, you'd walk down this big, long, dark hallway when you walked in, and then there was like a set of stairs that went down to like a bar area and the dance area. And so I'd always told my friends, I'm like, I'm going to get married at the field house. And I'm going to walk down those stairs, and we're going to go on the checkered dance floor, and that's where the altar is going to be.
I love it.
I'm going to walk in to Groove is in the Heart.
Yes!
That didn't... I couldn't even make the Groove... I mean... I wish I could go back.
Did that not even play at the reception?
No, I didn't even want to ask because we were in a church, and I didn't want to, like, break any church rules. I want to be respectful of it, because I know, like, the Catholic Church is, like, if you're a Catholic, I don't think you're supposed to even get married outside.
Yeah, but you were in a Methodist church.
I know. But, like, I was, born and raised in a Catholic church. So,
right.
like, I was, like, little miss respectful, and now I'm like, why did I even get married in a church?
The second wedding I'm going to this year is going to be a Catholic ceremony. I'm not looking forward to it, because I've been to a Catholic ceremony when I was a kid. It was torture. It felt like 2 hours. And I know it's because there's an actual mass. It's not just like, say vow, say I do, kiss. It's like And it's like you're done in 10 minutes and then you just like party the night away.
And sometimes those masses don't even count. Like,
why?
The Catholic Church, you can go to like a Saturday night mass, but if you go to like a Saturday morning mass, you still have to go to Sunday mass because it doesn't count for the holy day or something. I don't know. At least that's what my grandmother, I think, used to tell me.
Why go to the Saturday one?
I mean, I used to go to Saturday night mass when I was in school, and my mom would like.
So you would go to Saturday night and then Sunday?
No, I wouldn't go to Sunday.
Oh, okay.
But like they have a Saturday night, but like if it's like a certain time, like if it's not after a certain time, it doesn't count for the Sunday. Like everybody goes to church on Sunday, but there's that option of Saturday night. But there's something about the time of it, like if it's not after 5 o'clock or something like that, then it doesn't.
How long is a mass usually? Because when I was a kid, it felt like 2 hours. It's probably not that long, right?
I think it's like 7 hours.
Thanks,
I don't
Cindy.
know. Like, it's just such a weird thing to me because, like, I've talked about this before. Where I went to a bunch of churches, and I made sure I went back to the Catholic Church because that's what I was raised in. And it occurred to me, like, as I'm sitting in the mass, I want to say they're like about, if you go to a weekday mass or a Saturday night mass, they're like 30 minutes. Oh. They're really, really short.
Hopefully.
But like Sunday mornings are usually an hour, I would think.
Yeah, I imagine it's at least an hour. I'm hoping that it's not too painful.
They're not Greek by any chance, are they?
No.
Okay, good. Because I went to a Greek Catholic
no.
wedding, and it was 3 times as long as a regular wedding because they said everything 3 times because of the ceremony.
Oh, like in Latin and in Greek and
I don't remember.
in English?
I don't remember if they spoke a different language. They might have spoken
probably
in Greek.
Probably Latin, right?
I don't remember, but I just remember they said like a lot of the stuff over and over again because it was like a thing. Probably the Holy Trinity is what I'm guessing that they were going after.
Yeah,
they were running with that Trinity theme.
Yeah.
Which
actually, do you know the third wedding might be Catholic as well? I don't know. Why do I know so many?
You don't have to go to the wedding.
Why do I know so many Catholic people? I RSVP.
You don't have to go to the wedding.
Yeah,
the wedding itself.
I RSVP'd.
You can go to the reception and skip the wedding.
No,
you don't have to go to the wedding.
But
I'm
they're
just
all
telling you.
But they're all like people I like. That's why I'm going to the wedding in the first place. Like, so the one I'm talking about, the one this summer is one of my childhood best friends is getting married, and so I'm definitely going to that ceremony. The other one is another one of my childhood friends. But I'm not sure. I don't think she's a practicing Catholic anymore, so that one might not be a Catholic mass. But I know my childhood best friend one is just because her parents are really Catholic and she's the only child. So I'm guessing it's probably more a tradition thing rather than a belief thing, but
gotta get that sacrament in.
Yep.
Yeah, they're boring. I don't like going to the church weddings. Personally,
I don't either. It wasn't a church wedding, but when I was a kid, I was a flower girl in a wedding that took place in that little cute chapel in Hubbard Park. You know, by the IMU.
Oh yeah, I have a friend that got married there too.
So
yeah,
cute.
That is a cute little church.
It's so cute. It's just
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I feel like that would also be like a nice place to get married.
I love the river too. I love our river and that whole little path area down there. It's so pretty.
Yeah, it is so pretty. So
I used to like between jobs when I had a job site that was out in North Liberty, I would grab food from McDonald's or whatever, and I would park on Lower City Park in front of the river.
Yeah.
And watch, usually around 5 o'clock, I'd be there at 5:30, and I'd watch the rower people practicing. Like, that was when their practice was. I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah. I didn't know University of Iowa had a rowing team.
I don't know if it was University of Iowa, but it was like, they had a big, one of those big long boats.
Catamaran?
Or no, whatever the one is with the big long one where they have like 10 rowers and somebody in front, or whatever it's called.
Canoe?
Bigger than a canoe, but smaller than below decks.
Yeah, I think it's a catamaran.
I don't know what they're called. Isn't a catamaran the one that has like the platform in between and has a sail?
I'm Googling it. Oh, yeah, catamarans have sails. Never mind. Wait, so what...
It's rowing, whatever it is.
Boats are used for row teams. Come on, Google. All rowing boats can be called shells.
Well, I would watch the shell with
shells.
the rowers, and there were like a women's rowing team too, if I remember correctly. Like there's a bunch of women on it, which I thought was even better. That was pretty awesome. Highly recommend if you need free entertainment for 12 hours.
That's actually one of the events at the Olympics that I like watching. The rowers. For some reason, it's so calming to see like the boats like overtake each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the different angles they use too, like the aerial shots and then like the straight on shots. I like the Summer Olympics a lot. There's a lot of different like events that I like more than the winter
really watch
ones.
Olympics very much.
I do, but it's the only sporting events I'll watch regularly.
I will say that if you want to be a rower, I think there's like a regular person rowing crew.
Oh, I'm not that
my
athletic.
Ex-coworker's wife rows, and she would get up at like 5:30 in the morning and row, like with her team. But she's not she's not a student or anything.
I'm not interested in getting up at 5:30 in the morning.
That was the main thing that said to me, like, that's okay.
That's okay. Y'all can have that. Although I do like canoeing in the summer.
Have you kayaked?
No, I haven't kayaked. I've canoed with people, but never kayaked.
Okay, you and I this summer, I've been wanting to do this.
We should.
Monticello has the coolest, like there's a family that rents boats and stuff, and so you can rent kayaks, you can rent canoes, and they put you on the river, and then they pick you up at the end. It's one of those places, and I want to say it was like less than $30 a piece. My dad and I did it a couple years ago. It might be a little higher now. We should do that this summer. I keep meaning every summer. I'm like, I want to do it, and then it just never happens.
Let's do it.
So I need somebody to do it with, though, because you can't row alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
But... How fast is the river, though? Because I'd be concerned with, like, losing control and not being able to, like, dock properly.
It's not that. I mean, it was pretty lazy.
It was lazy. Okay.
You can get tubes also. But
I know. I've heard of people doing that, and like that seems so nice and peaceful.
I mean, I'd be into it, but I have there's a group of people that I know that did it like before I went there to go to do kayak.
Yeah,
and they're like, I would not recommend the tubes because it took us like forever. Like it was so slow, and I think they did it at a time where the water was probably lower, so they were like having to drag their...
I mean, yeah, but you would have to be on the water for a while.
One of the guys that was in the crowd, and I know this guy well enough to know that I know it was probably pretty funny when it happened. They're like halfway through, and it had been like 3 hours. Like they still had a lot of time.
Oh my gosh.
And I think there's a sign up that says like, the halfway mark or whatever. And he's like, what? We're only halfway. Like he was
not. Oh my gosh.
He was done for the day, and then they floated the rest of the way. But you've gone tubing before, haven't you?
Not on the river.
Where would you have tubed?
A lake?
Oh, like behind a boat?
Like behind a boat.
I've never done that, but I've gone lazy river, like like in Wisconsin.
Well, I've been on like lazy rivers at like water parks, but that's not what you mean.
Not lazy river, like
an actual river, like a unicorn floaty.
No, on a big tube.
Oh, no.
I still have a scar from it.
No, I thought you meant like the people who show up with like inflatable rings and just go down the river that way.
I think people do, but like a lot of like the place that I'm talking about in Monticello, they rent tubes.
Oh, nice.
I think they even rent the tubes with the coolers in them too. But
that would be a must.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of nice too because then you don't have to.
Because if you're going to be on the water for 6 hours, like you need a cold drink or 2 or 3, right?
And it's gorgeous.
And
it's
by
so
a cold drink, I mean like it could be anything, like pop or whatever. It doesn't have to be.
What I took,
yeah.
Yeah, I miss kayaking, but
when I graduated from college, a week before the actual ceremony is something called senior week. And so we did all these like cool activities after our finals were done and just to like blow off steam. And one of them was like a day at the nature reserve that the college has, like for environmental science students. And it's called Green Oaks. And it's maybe 30 minutes north of Galesburg. I'm not sure. Not quite sure. But it was so nice because we not even rented, like there was just canoes there. You could just like go and take out. And the river there is like narrow. And so it wasn't like an open lake at like McBride or something. It felt so cool. Like, do you know that opening scene in Pocahontas where she's singing just around the riverbed?
Yeah.
It was like that. And we were singing just around the riverbed because like it felt like that. It was so cool.
Did somebody have a wind machine so that your hair would go flowing like hers?
No, I don't think it was a windy day. I think it was actually a beautiful day, and that's the one day of senior week that I really liked because we did some other things, but
I don't think we had senior week.
Yeah, I think that's a relatively new thing.
They just baby you guys.
Good.
Y'all got participation trophies. I hate that argument.
I also hate that argument because, like, who gave us the participation trophies?
You know, my kids never got any. I don't know who's...
I did, but, like, and it wasn't oh, please give me a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was asking for that. We just got them.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes. And I'm like, that argument is so stupid because, like, it was the boomers and the Gen X people who were giving us
I wasn't giving out participation.
Right. But I'm saying, like, the generations who complain about that are the generations that gave us the trophies.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Like, please be serious.
Yes. They're the cause of the problems.
Yeah.
Not Gen X. We are angels. Everybody loves us.
Sure.
We do nothing wrong. We couldn't help it.
Nobody's in the YouTube chat room anymore. Is there anybody?
Yeah, I think they left, but...
Oh, it's called a rowboat. Thank you.
That's not what they're called. A rowboat is like enough for like 2 or 3 people.
Gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream.
Do I get to sing the second part?
Yes.
The made-up part? That's dirty.
Oh. No, don't.
Okay.
What's the dirty version?
Well, it's...
I don't think you can.
Okay.
What's the...
It's not super dirty, but it's something about rolling down... I can't remember. But somewhere you rhyme underwear with something.
Oh, well, that's not dirty.
And then something about Batman and Robin doing something. There was like a whole... Maybe we made it up as kids and nobody else knows about it, but... I'm just realizing that maybe that's not a popular thing to do. To make up words.
No, I've never heard the alternative.
I'll have to remember it, and
row your boat.
I'll send you a video clip if I remember of me singing it.
Please do it.
Excuse me. Well, I did get some topics sent.
Oh,
by
yes, absolutely. Okay.
Person. I mean, just questions. One was pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Why not?
Because the juice leaks out over the cheese.
Where are you getting your pineapples from that you have such juicy pineapples?
Blech. No, it makes the cheese sweet. I don't like it.
Oh, I never noticed that.
I don't like it. No, I like meat on my pizza. I like
my favorite
green prep,
like drunk Gumbies back in the day was broccoli, mushroom, and pineapple.
That's gnarly.
With ranch.
That's gnarly.
Yeah. It was pretty good. What's the perfect temperature and weather?
70 and sunny.
I agree.
Or,
actually, I like 65-ish.
Or 55 and overcast, like if we're talking about like autumn aesthetic that I like. Like overcast, stormy, 55.
Okay, so what is something when you first heard about it, you thought it sounded really stupid, but then you tried it and realized how great it was?
Oh, that's a good question. TikTok.
For me, yeah.
TikTok, I definitely wrote it off as that one app that kids dance on, but once that Dalgona coffee, like whipped coffee trend
That's about when I started, I think.
I didn't actually get a TikTok account until like a year later, but that was when I was first like aware of it being not just a dance app.
Right.
I think I got my TikTok account in January of 2021, because before that I was like looking up TikTok compilations on YouTube, and I was just like, this is stupid. I should just get TikTok.
Yeah. I spent most of the beginning of the pandemic when everything was shut down and I was at home. I was watching all of those stupid Facebook reels.
Oh yeah,
of assorted, people building things out of out in the middle of the desert. Those people that were scraping like mansions out of nothing with a stick. Did you ever watch those videos?
No.
Well, apparently they're all fake. I didn't know that at the time. I was very entertained. And then, of course, there was all the, carpet washing.
Oh my gosh, I still see those all the time.
And I'm like scrolling.
They're mesmerizing.
And I love watching people braid hair. I don't know what it is about.
Ooh,
the curly hair people that I love watching them like braid their hair down.
Me, Mom, and Dad were in the living room one night, and Mom and I were reading, and Dad was like watching something, and he came across a Facebook reel and was watching it, and we just heard like the weirdest sound ever. It was like, and we were like, Dad, what are you watching? What's that noise? He's like, I'm watching a video. We were like, what's the video? He's like, steaks grilling. So like he's seeing videos of steak grilling on like Facebook reels or whatever. So he doesn't do. He watched it for like a minute.
I was trying, like in my old job, I dealt with people quite a bit, and every once in a while I would come one guy that I helped, he owns like a sod farm, and I'm like, I bet you it would be pretty cool if you took a video of you like cutting the sod or mowing the sod or whatever it is you do, because it would be kind of like a repetitive type thing. He's like, I don't think anyone will watch that. And I'm like, if you start a TikTok channel, I'll watch it. Like stuff like that is just, you want to see the end. Mm-hmm. You see progress. You see somebody else doing something and you're like, it's almost like I did it.
Yeah.
It took us the same amount of time. I don't know what it is about watching like the carpet videos.
It's satisfying.
Yeah. Or when they're detailing cars, I like watching that too.
I like the carpets better just because you can, I don't know, I like seeing the progress.
But also I think, who on earth let their carpet get that bad? Like seriously.
I think what they do, like they must put them in mud.
They pack
or
it.
Something.
Yeah. They definitely pack them, but I don't care.
I mean, it makes for interesting content.
Yeah.
Or satisfying content.
Yeah.
So. Do you have another one?
Would you rather go without shaving your legs or your armpits? I don't shave. Well, I shave my armpits.
Well, I shave my armpits like more consistently than I shave my legs, just because it's easier to reach in the shower. Like, you just have to lift up your arm and it's fine. I don't mind having hairy legs.
I don't mind my legs in I don't know how long. It's been a long time.
Do you know, when I started shaving when I was like 13, but I was never very consistent with it. I've always been very low maintenance.
Right.
Incredibly low maintenance kind of girl. And so I'm like, I don't need silky smooth legs. And also it takes a lot of maintenance to keep that up. And I'm like, I'd rather just let it be.
Yeah.
Like, my body is growing hair. It should be there.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. So I don't usually remove it except my armpits, just because I like having shaved armpits.
I just think that deodorant works better if it's not
hairy. I agree.
And I have a hard enough time. Because menopause, deodorant stops working.
Oh, really?
I'm going to warn you, Molly.
Oh, gosh.
But on the bright side, you get less hair on your legs as you grow older.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed.
I actually don't have that much hair on my legs to begin with, which is another reason why I don't shave it all the time. Because I don't think you would even be able to see it unless you were like actively looking for it.
Yeah, mine was always very light anyway, so it's like not.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Who's got the time?
Who's
got the desire?
I mean, I have the time. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time doing that. I'm very efficient in the morning. It takes me about 5 minutes after I get out of the shower.
I'm also very much, even back then, I'm just like, boys don't have to do it. Why do I have to do it?
I mean, they do have to shave their face, which I would not.
They don't have to. Like, there's a lot of guys that have beards, and like beards are completely normal and normalized. So like, let's normalize female body hair right now.
Yeah, let's do that. What do you call the end piece of a loaf of bread?
I called it the butt.
I call it the heel.
That's what my mom calls it too. And I'm like, do you want the butt pieces of bread? She's like, the what? And I'm like, the end piece. She's like, the heel? I'm like, what did I say? She's like, the butt? I'm like, whatever.
Oh, and then just a suggestion to talk about TV shows, but we always
do. And we already did. I talked about Grey's Anatomy. I'm also watching One Day on Netflix. It's a romantic thing. You're not gonna like it. But as I recall, it's based on a book and it had a movie that came out in 2011. It does not have a happy ending. Spoiler, sorry, but it doesn't have a happy ending.
Well, then maybe I would like it.
Maybe you would like it.
Is one of them a serial killer? No. I'll watch it.
No.
Sorry. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. I finally upgraded my Spotify.
Ooh.
Well, actually, here's what happened. I'm like, I'm going to upgrade my Spotify because I've been listening to Spotify for like a while now with podcasts and stuff. So I have a nice little history on whatever I've been logged in on all this time. I go log in on my computer to Spotify because that's where you have to upgrade. And I use my email, log in, upgrade, pay the fee. It's not the same account. I must have logged in under an older email.
My gosh.
Or maybe I logged in through
Do you
Apple.
know what?
I don't know what happened.
I logged in through Facebook, so there's only one account.
That's what I hate. Like they give you all these options, and I never want to connect it to Apple because I was thinking, well, what if I don't have an Apple phone next? Well, I'm always going to have an Apple phone probably from here on out. That's how they get you. They get you to buy the first one, and then you're stuck with it forever. Anyway, so but it's okay. But what I upgraded for was the books.
Yeah.
The audiobooks. I mean, I love audiobooks through my library, but like a lot of the newer ones, you got to wait forever.
You have to wait forever.
And if you want to pay a little money, which I hate doing, but they have like new ones.
Yeah, they have brand new ones, and then I believe you don't get unlimited audiobooks, but you do get like 15 hours per month, which is like enough to read a book a month.
Yeah, and I'm kind of skipping,
or I guess listening to,
and because of that,
or two short ones.
I have listened to like a book, and if it doesn't hit me, I'm just going to go on to the next one because I can. And you can top off too. You can pay extra to get a couple, like an extra 10 hours or whatever that you can kind of.
I've never had to do that just because I use audiobooks like to supplement reading. I don't like, because I usually only use Libby or like physical books anyway. So just like one audiobook a month is fine for me. But I've only listened to one this year and I was disappointed with it.
I've started like 5 of them. And haven't been able to hook.
Which ones?
Okay, so I started I gotta look at that. My memory is like shot to heck. I was listening to the Ted Bundy Conversations with Ted Bundy. It was not as interesting as I thought it would be.
There's a Netflix documentary about it.
Yeah. I mean, I decided to do this because I listen to podcasts and stuff at work.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, potentially I could be listening to
an audiobook at work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have like at least probably 5 or 6 hours of listening time every day.
Yeah.
So it's like I run through all my podcasts pretty quickly. My Daddy is a Hero, how Chris Watts went from family man to family killer.
Oh, I've seen the Netflix documentary about that.
Yeah, I've seen that. And this is like a book of like all the facts that they're putting together and like just kind of walking us through. But again, they weren't telling me anything new that I didn't already know. So I just kind of got annoyed. And then I went to Down the Rabbit Hole, which is...
Oh, Holly Madison.
I'm going to come back to that.
I read that when I was still working at Barnes & Noble, and it's so good, Cindy.
Okay, I started it.
You should definitely keep with that.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back to that, but then I got distracted.
For those of you who don't know, Holly Madison is a former Playboy bunny, and she was Hugh Hefner's like main girlfriend. In the mid 2000s, she was on
star of the show too.
Star of the show Girls Next Door on E.
Yes,
around that same time period as well. I've said before, I was probably a little too young to be watching that show.
I let my kids watch it. I swear, my oldest kid, her first words were probably "Anna Nicole is pretty."
Really?
Yeah. That's how much reality show she watched when I was
love that
raising them. But
anyway, yeah, it was a really good book, and I do recommend it to you and then anyone else listening.
Yeah, and so then I started Amy Poehler's book because I hadn't gotten to that.
Oh,
one yet,
I haven't gotten to that. But have you read Tina Fey's book?
I read that actually in hardback.
I was
whatever.
I laughed out
ago
loud.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a really good book. It's called Bossy Pants.
Yeah.
The one that I listened to this year was the one that I was really disappointed by. Was I think her name is Alyssa Sussman, and the book was called Once More with Feeling. It was a rom-com, but it was about like actors, and I was so disappointed. Like the actors, it was like a quote-unquote enemies to lovers thing, which is a trope
I hate that.
Which is a trope I hate because it's not actually enemies to lovers usually anymore. It's that guy was kind of rude to me once, and it was actually a miscommunication all along to lovers. And I'm like, that's not enemies. Also, it's a lazy trope. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I didn't, not only did I not buy that, but also there's no chemistry between the two main characters. And the only reason I finished it was because it was only my second book of the year, and I didn't want to DNF that quickly. DNF is do not finish. But I didn't want to like give up that quickly, like during the middle of January. It was like during the 2 weeks of winter we had.
Well, you get to my age, you don't mess around. You don't stick with books if you don't like them.
See, that's what I usually do, and I've quit on several books now.
Good
because
for you.
I'm like, you know what? Life's too short. There's too many good books out there to be
I do that
wasted on bad ones.
I do that with movies too. I'm like, if I don't like this movie, like if it's a comedy and I'm not laughing in the first 10 minutes, I'm not watching the rest of the movie.
For right now, I'm reading Educated by Tara Westover, and I really like that one. It's about a woman growing up in like this super strict sect of Mormonism where she doesn't even go to school. They don't even get a telephone until like she's a teenager.
Is it a true story or?
It's a true story.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, you should.
What's it again?
It's called Educated by Tara Westover.
I'll totally remember that.
She didn't.
She texted me that later.
She did not even have a birth certificate until she was 9 years old.
I love stories like that.
Yeah. So you would probably love it.
Yeah, I'm looking for like books that have kind of a podcast feel. You know what I mean? Like they tell a story.
So you want like memoirs and biographies.
That's what I've been looking at is biographies and
true
crime stories and like maybe like historical stuff. Probably would be fine because it's like I'm working at the same time when I'm listening, and so like I can't really pay attention to like details of character and plot. And
right, and like
really,
she had blonde hair and blue eyes, and
if there's more than one character, I have no idea. That's why I like biographies because it's always about one person, usually.
Yeah. The best book I read this year was Homegoing by Yag Yassi. She is, I want to say, from Ghana.
Okay.
And it's about these two girls that are born in Ghana, like before it's Ghana, like in the 17th century or the 18th century, and one of them marries a white man, and that story follows her descendants, and the other sister gets sold into slavery, and that story follows her descendants, and it's so good.
Wow,
it's so good. I recommend it. The writing is fantastic, and she was a part of the Iowa Writers Workshop.
Oh.
And I didn't know that until I finished the book, and like I was reading the acknowledgments, and she said something about the Iowa Writers Workshop.
Aww.
I'm like, yes,
that's a good program.
It is a good program. So it's so good. It's called Homegoing by
That's
Yag
why Hannah
Yossi.
off of Girls wanted to go to it. You didn't watch Girls, did you?
I did watch Girls. Did she mention the Iowa?
There was a whole several episodes where she was supposedly in Iowa.
Do you know what? I did not finish that series.
She had her bike stolen because she thought, it's Iowa, I can just leave the bike out.
Oh gosh. No.
And then the funniest part, I thought, this is so Iowa. I don't know if you had if you ever lived downtown.
No.
The bats. If you live in an old rental house, oh my God, there's always bats.
And there's bats in my parents' house too. I've had to deal with several bats. When I was in high school, that was the first time we had bats in the house. It like forced its way into my room at like 4 a.m, and it was like flying over my room, and I was so afraid. I like ran downstairs, slammed my door, and like told Mom and Dad immediately. I woke them up super early, and we called animal control, and animal control had to come and kill the bat because they thought, because I was sleeping, they weren't sure if it bit me, and I'm like, it didn't bite me. I woke up to it like slamming into my room. I would have known if it bit me. And so now we never call animal control. We only handle it ourselves.
Not to scare you.
What?
But you can be bitten and not realize it. And the only reason why I know that is because Allie didn't get bitten, but she lived in an old house and she had a bat and freaked out. And, you know, we did a little bit of research and talked to some people, and they're like, yeah, like, she had to go get like a rabies shot.
Really?
Because she wasn't sure. She didn't see anything. She didn't feel anything, but she knew there was a bat in the house, and they couldn't find it. Like, she like ran out of the room, and I think she tried to lock it into her room, like shut the door. And her dad came over, looked around. They couldn't find it. And like maybe a week later, she was in her bedroom, and she must have shut her door for some reason. And the bat was like, gets like stuck on the door or something. Somehow the bat, when she opened the door to like get out of the room, like she must have slammed the door and slammed the bat in between the door and and it died. So, yeah. But like in that whole process, I kept saying, yeah, you don't have to, I mean, if you didn't get bit, it's no big deal. She's like, no, I talked to a nurse and they said that, you know, you can, it's a little pinprick. Like,
okay,
it's
but
not like,
but that specific instance, like I woke up to it like slamming into my room through the window, and it flew around, and I bolted out of my room. Like, I had zero contact with this bat. I understand.
She was asleep and woke up to it in the room, so she didn't know what happened before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I understand the animal control protocol, but I don't want to be responsible for any bat deaths. So
I just supposed to kill him either, like on purpose.
The only way you can test. This was what was said to us. The only way you can test a bat for rabies is if you kill it. You have to kill it in order to test it.
That's why they, I think, had her get the shots, because they couldn't find the bat.
Right.
So just to be safe, which is fine. But
they're so cute. The little bats are so
scary.
Cute.
I think they're scary.
I think they're cute.
Oh, did you see the new Mean Girls yet?
Yes.
Like it?
No.
Oh.
I liked Karen, and I liked Regina. I like Renee Rapp a lot. She was Regina on Broadway. Mm-hmm. Avantika, the girl who plays Karen, I thought was awesome. I think I actually preferred her Karen over the original one, and then especially the one on Broadway. I didn't like her at all. But what did you think?
I didn't love it.
No.
But I watched it, and I was engaged by it, and I loved what they did with some of the characters. I'm just going to spoil it.
Yeah, just spoil it.
Tina Fey, and who's the principal guy?
Tim Meadows.
Their two characters are married. I loved how they dealt with that in the movie, because they're like casually like, okay, so then fine, you're going to make dinner tonight, or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a casual reveal.
They cut to the kids on the bleachers, and they're like, what? What? They're married? And I was doing that exact same thing at home. I'm like, what? So
I saw it in theaters just because I was excited for it. Although I I've heard the music before. I don't love the music, but I wanted to see it because I loved the original one. I've been obsessed with it for 20 years. But I was disappointed with the actress who plays Katie. She can't sing.
See, I did not expect to like her as much because I saw clips on TikTok and I'm like, who is this person? Like, who is she? She didn't.
I think she was acting fine, but she can't really sing. So I'm like, surely in a musical, singing takes priority, right? But apparently not. Apparently not.
But man, is she like Amy Adams' daughter?
No,
'cause she looks exactly like her.
No, she's actually an Australian actress.
Wait, she has an accent too?
Yes, she's Australian in real life. But yeah, there are some liberties taken, some creative choices that I didn't love, and watching it just made me want to watch the original again. I'm like, I wish I was watching the original right now. That's the thought I had in the theater. I'm like,
I will say the only major disappointment, my favorite line, you'll never guess. You go, Glen Coco.
You go, Glen Coco.
It did not hit the same way.
It didn't.
I don't know what that actor did to make it like not be like that is not like people who only see that movie.
He wanted it to make it his own, I guess.
I know, but it didn't.
It didn't hit.
I don't want to repeat that line.
That was another thing. Like, so some of the lines they kept because it's so iconic, but some of them they changed, and like, no matter what, if they kept the original dialogue, I'm like, oh, it doesn't hit the same. Or if they changed it, I'm like, oh my god, they changed it. Like, I can't win. Yeah. You can't win when because the original movie was so beloved, and by me, by a lot of other millennials, and I was disappointed with this movie.
I think it was Renee Rapp. I saw an interview where she's like, it's just so kind of crazy. It's like it's a movie that was a musical, and now it's a movie musical, and she like kind of pointed out how ridiculous everything was.
I love Renee Rapp. She is so like charismatic in interviews.
She is so untrained, and I love it.
I know, and I love it. I'm like, please never train anyone
never
again.
manage her. Let her do what she wants.
No, let her do what she wants. She was like, did you see that clip of her putting that bus company on blast?
Like, that was the first thing I'd seen of her, and I'm like, who is this woman?
This is like a guy who owns a bus tour company. His name is Buddy. You are so misogynistic and so rude. I hope your business burns.
And she didn't even do business with him. It was her like sister and cousin or something that got screwed over.
I know. I love it though. I'm like, please, nobody ever train her.
Yeah.
I want some more unhinged celebrities like that. And it's not even in like a dangerous way. She's just telling things like it is.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should be more like that. But I want to tell this story. I told this to Mom and Dad a few weeks ago. We found my dad's old Blockbuster laminated card from 1998. And it's crazy. And it's still in pretty good shape. I'm like, how is this not ratty or anything? But it's still in pretty good shape. But it reminded me of when the first Mean Girls came out in 2004. It came out when I was 11. So spring of my 5th grade year, and then it came to Blockbuster like that fall. So fall of 6th grade for me. And I got either mom or dad to rent Mean Girls for me and my friend for when we came back from school one day. And so we came back from school one day, we sat down on the couch, and we turned on this movie, and the FBI and, like, rating credits came up, and it was, like, PG-13, and I looked over at her, I'm, like, worried. I'm like, Lori, should we be watching this? And she said, with a conviction, like, so beyond her years, said, it's okay, Molly, we're 11.
You're mature for your age.
Yeah, like, just reassuring me, like, it's okay, we're 11. As if to say, we can handle this. And, I mean, it worked. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. And so then we watched it, and it was fine, but, like, that's such a clear memory for me. Like, she just said it with, like, such confidence. It's so funny.
We tried Willy Willy Wonka or Wonka or Willy.
Oh, Wonka, yeah. Wonka. The Timothy Chalamet one?
You know how you're supposed to say his name?
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet. He's
Oh.
French. I just saw a whole clip on it on TikTok. He's saying his name. He's like, yeah, it just seems like a lot of pressure to put on people to pronounce it right. So I just go by Timothy.
So
he's Timothée.
Timothée.
Timothée Chalamet. And he speaks French.
Well, yeah.
Did you know that?
Well, he's part French. He's like
I know,
French
but
American.
That doesn't mean he knows French.
I think his parents are from France. Or like his mom is from France or something. Or probably his dad, since it's his last name.
I still don't like the movie. We stopped watching it.
No, I didn't watch it.
When I was watching it, it felt like it was like a play. You know what I mean? Like it felt very one-dimensional and not very good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just too cheesy.
There was nothing in the previews that I saw that made me want to go see it. You know.
Well, we got to see it for free, so I mean, like on streaming, whatever it was.
Right.
But...
Yeah, I think it's streaming on Paramount.
Yeah.
Just like no,
I can't
Mean
remember.
Girls is Paramount.
On Paramount. Yeah.
I don't know where Wonka is. I don't really care. I saw the 2005 one, but I haven't seen it like since it came out, and I feel like if I saw the 2005 one again, it would be so horrifically dated.
I don't think I ever watched that. I mean, I watched the original one, obviously.
Oh yeah, the 70s one is awesome.
Because
that's Gene Wilder is awesome.
Yeah.
And like Johnny Depp made him kind of weird and sinister.
I hate to break it to you, but the original was weird and sinister.
But
don't you remember that scene
Gene
where
Wilder's awesome?
I know, but like the scene where they're in the boat and there's all the lights and he's like doing that like round and round we go, and he's like doing this little chant thing, and everyone's kind of scared and like they didn't know, like it was like
maybe I need to watch it again.
It was creepy. That was scary. And then he has all those little people that are orange.
Yeah, the Oompa Loompas,
which may not be. I mean, they might be kids.
They're not.
Okay.
No, they're clearly adults. They got little people to act, just like the Munchkins and.
I know, but if you're a grown man with a bunch of little people around you, you have a fetish. I'm just saying.
Put them on blast. I haven't seen it in a while though, so either version. If I were to watch another version again, it would definitely be the original 70s one.
Yeah.
Just because like
it's so beloved.
It is. And also the remake, as I said, Johnny Depp makes them so weird.
Yeah, I heard it was a lot more like psychedelic than the original.
Yeah, and just of its time, like when in 2005, it was very much like random humor was in, so they're making like the grandparents kind of senile and they just pop up and say random stuff. Which is very of its time, but I feel like if I were to watch it now, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
In the remake, did they make all the four grandparents like in bed all together?
Yes.
Okay. I still don't. I mean, even as a kid, I'm like, why was Uncle Joe he was able to jump out of
Grandpa
bed.
Joe. Yeah, he was able to jump out of bed. I'm like, get a job.
And this poor mother was like doing, like, she was taking care of all of them.
All of them. And they never did anything.
Mom should have gone to the shop.
I agree. Take your mom. Don't take your
Grandpa Joe or whatever his name
Grandpa
is.
Joe, yeah.
Who's been faking it all this time, apparently.
Exactly. But also, like, if you were...
Also, 4 people in bed. That's weird.
That's... Yeah, just because if you physically can't leave bed, like, I understand, but why did Grandpa Joe put up with that for so long? If he was truly able-bodied like he is, why did he choose to stay in this bed for...
Now that I'm thinking about it, was that her, mom's mom and dad, and then dad's mom and dad?
Yeah, it was both sets of grandparents.
Both sets of grandparents aren't related to each other.
No. I mean, through marriage.
I mean, I'm trying to imagine when I was married, would my in-laws
interact with your parents?
Be bedridden all together with my parents? Like, that would be weird. That's weird.
That's weird.
Even in a close family.
A lot of
that whole movie's weird.
That whole movie's weird.
I don't want to rewatch it because I'll see so many weird
I know
weird
it's based on a Roald Dahl book
I've read the book. The book is way different.
I haven't read the book. Is it creepy and weird?
I think there was it wasn't even called Willy Wonka. It's like Glass. I remember reading a book called Glass Elevator, I think is what it was called.
Roald Dahl? Here.
Yeah.
Here, let's look it up.
Because I remember the very last scene, or maybe that was a second book or something. It was like they went up into the glass elevator. I do remember that.
No, I remember that scene. I just don't. Here, let's see. Willy Wonka book. It's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Originally published 1964.
I thought there was another. Maybe not. Okay. Oh, no. There's Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. That's what I read. Which is I think afterwards.
Oh, is it a sequel?
Maybe.
About him owning the chocolate factory?
It's a children's book.
Yeah.
Maybe I did. I don't know. Anyway. I thought the original movie was a little weird too, but I do not recommend the new one. And I also don't recommend Aquaman. I watched Aquaman.
Oh, yeah, you told me that too.
Yeah.
So you're like, don't watch that. And I'm like, I wasn't planning to.
I know you weren't, but the audience.
The audience.
They value.
Whoever's listening.
Who we recommend. And it's almost 9 o'clock.
It is. We have 2 more minutes. Is there anything you would like to add?
I will not remember until 3 minutes from now what I wanted to say.
Oh, wait. Elvis said, imagine Gene Wilder playing Ted Bundy. That would be incredible given how evil he played Willy Wonka. I don't remember him playing Willy Wonka that evil.
Okay, I remember it differently then. That scene is scary when they're in the lake
I
or
think
the river thing.
He's just a weirdo who wants to leave who doesn't have he doesn't have kids of his own. He's I feel like only a child would want to inherit a chocolate factory. And so that's why he does this contest. I just think he's a reclusive weirdo and he doesn't understand what is creepy and what is not. I don't think he was trying to be evil. I think he's supposed to be played maybe not sympathetic, but he's not supposed to be a bad guy.
No, I didn't think he was a bad guy. It's just that scene is scary.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking mostly to Elvis.
Oh.
Watch the psychedelic riverboat scene. Yeah, that's what Cindy's talking about. I haven't seen the movie in a while, so
that movie should have been PG-13. I'm just saying.
Was it not?
No. I think it was made before PG-13 was a thing.
Oh, right. When was that a thing?
I worked in video rental stores when that was happening, and I remember getting yelled at by a mother who took home 16 candles, which was PG, and there's a full nude, not full nude, boobs in that movie.
Oh.
And so she's like, there should have been a warning. I mean, it's PG, but there should have been a warning. There's
right.
nudity.
There shouldn't be boobs on PG.
You can get away with a certain amount of.
Really?
As long as it's not sexual in nature, I think is what the rule was. But you were able, for whatever reason, back in the 80s or whatever, that's around the time when all those movies were coming out and they were kind of pushing it. They developed the PG-13 rating and whatever other ratings that they've got. But
so that was during what, the 80s and 90s?
I believe so, because I remember just around that 16 Candles specifically. That was around the time where I just remember, oh God, it was really bad. But
interesting.
Watch the movies before you show them to your kids, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just
it's PG, parental guidance.
It's regular discretion.
And also, it's boobs. They should know what they look like. But whatever.
Yeah, babies know what boobs look like.
I, of course, let my kids watch the director's cut of Step Brothers, which was a mistake.
I've never seen it, so I can only imagine what you're talking about.
It was bad. But.
All right, well, it is now time for us to take our leave. I think Thursday next week is probably free. If
probably available.
If you're available, you may come back.
Alrighty.
You may also come back, dear listener.
Please.
I will be back tomorrow.
Listeners.
Listen. You know what?
There's got to be at least two people out there.
I'm going to address them as one person. Listener. Dear listener. So, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. for a music show. And then we'll see about next Thursday. Who knows what happens. All right.
No problem.
Bye. You're listening to the mighty 1630 KCJJ.
From the Hertine and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertine and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Now, Iowa City's news first.
I'm Tommy Lang with KCJJ News.